In today's show, we discuss Reform UK. Is it American politics in a British suit?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasula and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Tayo Boyer. Tayo, hello my friend once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well.
What the hell, Tony? What you gonna do, eh? Hello, audience.
Yay.
Don't say anything. Okay, so right. We're a little behind it today, audience. I know you're dying to know what city I'm going to say hello to. I'd like to know too, by the way. And I'm going to say hello to... I'm going to bring it all the way home. North Shields, Tyneside.
Okay.
North Tyneside, which is in Newcastle area, isn't it? North
Newcastle.
Tyneside. That's when you go on the ships to Norway. You can often start off from
Newcastle. Can you?
Yeah, I actually went on my Norwegian trip was from them. So anyway, hello to Tyneside.
Yes, whoever's up there, keep listening.
I was up in Teesside uni, so.
Okay.
Yeah, from back then.
Keep listening from there. Keep liking our shows. Please subscribe if you get our show appear in your inbox or whatever platform you're using and listening to our content. And yeah, comment, please do. And I will say again our email address, which is on Tayo's screen, but those who are listening on audio, it is tnttalkshow@mail.com. No spaces in all of that. And please send us a message. Say hello. Say what you like about the show. Say what you dislike about Tayo. Say all these wonderful things, and we will get back to you.
It's going to be a short email then. I'm not going to ask you to say what you dislike about Tony because I haven't got the time to read so many words. I've just sent you. So quick question, because this is Tayo's question time. Stop looking and stop reading. I sent it to you and it doesn't give you permission to read it yet.
Oh, well, I'm reading it.
Have you read it?
I have, yes.
So you know the answer to the question. How many views do you think one of the most popular, what do you call them, videos on YouTube has?
That's not the most popular.
One of the most popular. Views.
Views, yeah. Views.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot.
What do you think it is? What do you think it's saying?
Well, that says 1.7 billion.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
What? Well, it's a little bit more than the TNT Talk Show.
Okay. I wouldn't mind if we were up there to that level, but
really?
That's nothing.
That's the highest I've seen. That's the highest I've ever seen.
No, there's loads more than that. Some of the music videos are way more than that. And they're just
1.7 billion views.
Yeah, more than that. And it's not because they're individual views, it's because people have viewed them again and again.
Yeah. I know this because I go back to this particular show. Anyway, in case you don't know what we're talking about, this is a video by someone called Carly Rae Jepsen. And a few years ago, 13 years ago, it looks like, she made a popular video called Call Me Maybe. It's a guilty pleasure. Because it's really pop song kind of, it's rather silly song to be honest, but I like it a lot and I go back to it more often than it's good for me. Anyway, there we go. That is it. 1.7 billion. So news to me, and I dare say news to loads of people that there's any videos out there with 1 billion plus views. But there we go.
There's way more.
Wow,
way more.
amazing.
That's actually low in comparison to the billion view videos. There's some 3 billion and things like that, which is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you just actually, what are the most viewed top 10 videos ever on YouTube, you'll find the list and it's more than 1.7. 1.7 is not bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not the top, even though it's considerably more than you would have expected. Anyway, let's move on with today's show. And today, this is a topic that I think I picked. Yay! First one in a long time. Or was it one of yours? I just don't know.
No, God, no, no, no. You can't put this on me. Sorry.
And today's show, we're going to discuss Reform UK. Used to be known as the UKIP, and Brexit Party is now Reform UK. And we're asking, is it actually American politics in a British suit? Now, the reason why if I think it was mine actually, the reason why I'll start, I wanted to talk about it, was Mr. Nigel Farage, who is the leader of Reform UK and obviously was the leader of the Brexit Party, which then renamed itself to UKIP, UK Independence Party, and now we're renamed by the third time as Reform UK, because I believe that he is actually running the Donald Trump playbook, and he's emulating his hero, Donald Trump, and trying to bring Donald Trump's policies, mirror them over here in the UK. And the big one which I wanted to discuss with Tayo was to do with the NHS. That to me is a no-go area, but it is what it is. But we'll discuss it as we go forward. So first off, Tayo, what's your view of Mr. Farage? Is he a hero of yours or a villain?
Well, since I was a card-carrying member of UKIP many years ago, he began as a hero of mine. But when push comes to shove, he seems to flake out at the worst possible time. Whenever true responsibility is about to be thrust upon him, he seems to cave in and to wimp out.
Can you cite any examples of that?
Well, yeah, when UKIP was doing very well, and it looked like we're going to make a breakthrough, he wimped out then during the Brexit palaver. We're making a lot of progress, and then just as we were reaching the finishing line, and we could have, we still crossed over, but he wimped out just before we got there. So people are saying that he's going to be possible that he's going to be the next prime minister. Well, going by his form, that's not going to happen, because as soon as it looks like he will really have to actually stop drinking pints of beer in various pubs and knuckle down to some hard work. Well, obviously I'm saying that a little bit tongue in cheek. Man has been working quite hard for many years, but I can't help feeling that when push comes to shove again, he's just going to say, you know what, I'm going to retire to France or something, and just be gone with it. So, no, he's not my hero any longer. He's very flawed, too flawed for me for that to be my hero. He's done well. He's done well enough for what he has done, which is at least to introduce the possibility of a third party in the country. It's a bit of a shame that
third party. We've had a
third
party.
Viable party. Viable. We've had third parties before, but they weren't viable. This is the first time when it looks like a third party can actually do something, upset the apple cart of British politics, and be responsible for a cataclysmic sea change in politics, where we're no longer talking about just two parties, Labour and Conservative, and we could have an actual option. Now, we do have an option, but it's my preferred option. But unfortunately, nobody else is really interested in it, and it's a shame.
What party is that then? What's the third option that's not you think
Workers' Party. Workers' Party.
The Workers' Party.
Workers' Party.
What do they stand for?
Everything good, apart from the fact that they're left. And I'm not leftist. Well, they are leftists, but they are really serious. I mean, look, it's led by George Galloway. George Galloway's party. So very serious on no wars, extremely serious on proper treatment for the Palestinians, extremely serious on not being America's tail. So, I mean, you're not really happy with. We're going to discuss this, but you've told me offline that you are concerned for the NHS. And
Yes.
obviously, with George Galloway, that's going to be ring fenced. Nobody's going to touch that NHS with a, 10-foot pole. It'll be as safe as
Yeah.
houses. So it's just such a horrible shame that of all the options that we're going with is this Reform Party thing, which, frankly, yeah, no, for me.
I'm
But we're
actually
going
quite
to.
surprised by your stance, really, because you're over the years you're a fascist in sheep's clothing,
You
and
know,
you.
I don't like I don't like that sheep's clothing thing.
I mean, you're not quite, although off with their heads is a thing that you
Oh, come on, I
quite
just I don't I mean I mostly don't mean that. Mostly.
mostly. But you're really right leaning. You believe in a lot of the, if I can say, MAGA viewpoints, and so I'm surprised you don't want you're sort of steering or putting some clear daylight between you and Reform. I would have thought Reform would have been the natural party for you, so you would have embraced the things that we're going to touch on in this show today, in so much that American politics will then have an influence in the British government. Not directly, but certainly the methods that they use will be mirrored over here. And that's the ultimate goal I see for Nigel Farage. That's what he wants the Reform UK to be a populist party. And he following the anti-establishment route
Yeah.
and wants to
Yeah, yeah.
to lead the country in a similar fashion. Very populist,
Well,
populist view, and yeah, and having culture war rhetoric. And he's the one that be similar to Trump, standing up for the man on the street and anti-establishment, which is basically the Trump playbook, is it not? And you quite like that.
unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. No, I'll take that back. It's not unfortunate at all. You said something that's essential, but you probably missed it. I mean, the words came out of your mouth, but I don't think you understood the true import of it. I mean, first of all, those words are actually accurate. So you were saying something that's true, but you don't get it. So I'm going to repeat those words back to you, right? He's just like Trump. There's your problem. He's
He's
just like
just like
Trump.
Trump, right? I see. So the bits that he could potentially represent are actually views that you hold dear: populist, anti-establishment, culture war rhetoric. So against the global elite. That's
Well,
very populist.
he says,
That's
but
very
then
populist, isn't it?
where all the money is coming from,
Yeah,
then
it's
he's
coming from.
again just like Trump.
Yeah,
Say one thing, do another. So I know zero trust.
yeah,
You see, zero trust. You got to look at who's funding things. If all the money, if their money was all coming from the ordinary man on the street, all anonymous donations, small donations, yeah, I'd be a Reform Party man. But when you got people pumping big money into it, you already know what you're buying. Someone is buying the party, and that someone isn't us, isn't the man on the street.
no,
So actually, not interested. I want to go with someone who's really, truly, and has been in the trenches, has suffered for it, is still suffering from it. I mean, George
got
Galloway was
integrity.
sorry.
Got integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, exactly. You can trust him. You know that what he said 20 years ago, he's saying it now, and he suffered for it. And if he becomes the prime minister, which of course nobody would ever let him, that's a problem. I think even if we voted for him, they'd stop him somehow because
why?
it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to the establishment. He's way too
Well,
dangerous to the establishment. But Farage is basically, this is the other thing. He's like he's in crowd now. He used to be out crowd, but now he's in crowd. And your look, anyways, your position about one of the few things that Britain can be really proud of, in my opinion, one of the few things Britain can be really proud of is the NHS.
Absolutely.
Trying to fix the NHS is laudable and is required, and we should do it. Privatizing the NHS, that is what is that? That is I don't even know. I can't even find a good metaphor for the stupidity of doing that. Who in his right mind would even think about wanting to privatize the NHS, apart from people who are looking at their pockets and thinking to themselves that they'd be somehow better off without the NHS, which I'm not even sure is even true, because the Americans aren't better off.
No.
I mean, apart from the ultra rich, and how many of us are ultra rich?
No, indeed. Because I mean, let's play this through. Okay, imagine Reform get into power at the next election. Okay,
Yeah.
and one of their policies is to look at all options for the NHS, and it does include replacing the NHS model with an insurance-based system. And this is Nigel Farage actually saying this. He's open to anything, but he does say he could consider replacing the NHS model with insurance-based system, which is what and how the American system currently works. Now, no disrespect to our American friends out there, we love you dearly, but your insurance-based system is so bad. It's so anti the individual, it's incredible. The insurance companies make an arm and a leg, and they have you over a barrel, charging for services and health that people need. People cannot afford the insurance premiums because some of them are astronomical, and you literally, as Tayo has already said, you've got to have a lot of money behind you to even afford a modicum of healthcare. That should be the responsibility of the government to ensure that all the citizens have a level of decent medical care. Not just patch you up so you're not dead, but literally care. And yes, it has its failings in the UK. It's by no means perfect, and there are many holes in it. But with some real good decision making, they can improve it. Because there are other equivalent services in Europe that do operate effectively for their populations at very low amounts of money. I know in the UK there's this barrier currently that we don't have a small fee at point of entry for an appointment, which is then refundable, by the way, in some European countries. We don't have that. So anyone can go as many times as they want for medical care. And you do, unfortunately, get some time wasters. And that then adds to the burden to the staff, who then have to look at these people. And unfortunately, that wastes time and resources for those that do genuinely need to be seen. So that needs to be looked at. But if we had the model that they have in some European countries, where to get into the hospital you've got to be referred there, or somebody triages you at a small fee, you can then get in because you need to be seen, and you can be seen, and that money is then returned to you because it's a genuine request. This is just to get rid of the stupid people who, cracked a fingernail. Go on.
I just thought of a solution just now.
Go on.
You go to the hospital and there's nothing really wrong with you. We'll cut off one of your legs. If the doctors can't find anything, they'll put you under and take off a leg. And then that way, I think you'll find a lot of time wasters will suddenly discover that they've got oodles of other things they have to do rather than go to the hospital. Just say, you might want to consider it. I know you're going to call me a fascist and all this, but, seriously, Right now, I'm struggling to see a problem with that. Anyway, go on. Go on.
I think that's a little bit too right wing.
Okay, okay. A finger, maybe part of a finger. Something's got to go, man. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't help that the NHS is still a waiting of 1 in 10 jobs need filling in the NHS. So if you think about that, that's 10% of the workforce. There are gaps. So you've got that down. So that's another reason why the NHS is struggling, because they just don't have the staff in the key areas to do the job. So there's waiting lists. Things have improved. It's not, it's not all doom and gloom, but it certainly took a while to try to get back the numbers after the pandemic, because it did get overwhelmed. Things went to pot. It was already on a limit. That's why the pandemic caused massive problems, and it's taken years for the NHS to recover, and it hasn't fully recovered. Married with that, we have the Brexit situation, which is on top of it, which happened just before the pandemic, where a lot of people from Europe who were working in the NHS decided to leave and go back to their respective European countries, which again left a big gap. It was Nigel Farage's wish at the time, because he's advocating Brexit, said, just think, when these people go, we'll have jobs for the British people. But the British people haven't stepped up and taken those jobs. There's still a massive gap, and it's never been filled. So these two big issues have certainly scuppered the NHS. But now Nigel Farage coming along, and his solution, or one of his solutions, is to bring in an insurance-based system. Where are the insurance companies coming from? Are they going to be American? Of course they'll be American. Of course they will. Oh, we've got experience in this. Your insurance companies don't. So we'll come in. We'll show you how it's done. We'll do it for you. Not a problem. And so what you're doing, you're actually giving money away to a big corporation and more American corporations to provide services. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Charge people through the nose? For what service? The same service?
Well, even worse, isn't it?
It'll be worse.
You see, the problem with the American model is that you're actually paying managers and not doctors. I mean, you are paying doctors, but a lot of the money that you're paying is actually goes to service corporations and, worst of all, service stockholders.
Yeah.
And what the hell has stockholders got to do with a person's health? It's ridiculous.
It's a money-making system.
The entire concept is bonkers. I mean, the Americans themselves know it's bonkers. Well, many of them don't know until they travel overseas, and then they are horrified to find out that actually, you can actually get good medical attention for what they would consider to be pennies. I understand that there's a YouTuber who traveled to China and had some problem to do with the brain or something. Turned out to be okay in the end, but he was scared. Saw it, called the hospital.
In China, this was.
In China.
Yeah.
In China. This is Guangzhou, a city called Guangzhou, which is pretty international. Called the doctor, got a same-day appointment, and he was thinking, because he was like, well, I think I should just go home. And they're like, no, we'll see. Got an appointment the same day. Got the brain scan the same day, got the blood test done the same day, basically just got seen entirely same day. And then they said, well, it seems like there's no big problem. We are going to do further tests. Here you go, take this. That will, for whatever you need to prepare for the test, and then come back in the morning. But right now it looks okay.
Yeah.
And how much do you think all that was?
Go on.
About $120.
Oh.
About $120.
Did he freak out? He must have
Of
been.
course he freaked out. He made a big YouTube thing about it. All the views of people going like, what the heck are we doing in our country?
Well, it's all
Somebody was saying
profiteering.
something like, my kid fell out of a tree and it cost $5,000 for the ambulance to show up and take the guy to
That's
the
what they
hospital.
pay. Every time you call an ambulance in the States, it's $5,000.
Oh,
It is. That's the basic amount. $5,000 to call out an ambulance in the States. Just to
I
call
made
them
to
out.
shut my mouth. What?
Yeah. Honestly, the prices there are ridiculous. That's why you have to have insurance, and insurance is only limited to a certain amount of medical assistance. So if you go beyond that, you've got to pay out your own pocket.
Those people are not serious. So yeah, an ambulance costs $5,000, but you're running around with guns. Look, man, you got to make up your mind. What are
Oh,
you doing? What are you doing
don't.
here? Are you are you charging $5,000, or are you running around with guns? Make up your mind, man.
Well, that keeps their population down, I suppose. But, you know, the going back to our topic in hand about Nigel Farage and reform, I believe that if he runs with this as a topic that they're going to fix, but potentially with an insurance-based system, he will not get into power. But
You are ascribing far too much intelligence to our voters. I think I'm right in saying, I'm going to check this out in a second. I think I'm right in saying that our very first episode was are voters too
dumb to
too
vote.
dumb to
Yeah,
vote? Yes.
our very
Are
first show
people
many years ago.
our very first show 5 years ago? Are people too dumb to vote? Well, look, the jury's in, dude. The answer is yeah. Yeah, they are.
The thing is,
They go to the polls and they vote for the same thing and they're still expecting different results.
results.
At what point is it that you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going to vote for it? Nigel Farage, he may or may not own up to the fact of what he wants to do. If he's going to follow the Trump model, then he's going to give us a bunch of lies. He's going to say, oh, no, no, we don't have any intention whatsoever of doing that with the NHS. Get into power and then just do a 180 turn,
Yeah,
which is what
yeah.
politicians do all the time anyway. I'm not being held to account. So this is the problem.
Well, one of the things that he does want to do and follow the American model is this Project 2025. Are you familiar with
No, I'm not.
this? Right. Project 2025 is the American playbook, Project
Mhm.
2025, which has been put together, blueprint basically, by the right wing of um, American institutions, basically.
Mhm.
And it's a 1,000-page operational policy, and Trump is literally going through it. Literally, and I'll explain what's happening. And Nigel Farage wants to bring some of this over here, and basically they wanted to follow this playbook, Project 2025 playbook, and the goal was to ensure that the next government, which is Trump government, starting from day one, would make sweeping changes. And they wanted to change whole departments, which is what they're doing. They had a personnel database as part of this of thousands of vetted conservative loyalists that they could use as a replacement for staff that they cleared out. So this personal database was built up over a number of years of loyalists, conservative loyalists, that the administration could get rid of whole swathes of departments, civil servants in the greater government, and put loyalists in place. Now, Nigel Farage wants to do something similar. At the minute, the civil service is a protected area. So any government that comes in, they ask the civil service to do the do of government. And they have to do it. They can't say no, they just have to do it. So they're a functioning group of people who carry out the instructions from the government, which is the executive. But they are the workforce, the knowledgeable workforce that carry out the instruction of the government. But what Nigel Farage wants to do, he wants to do what they do in America, is take away the security of the civil service, which means that the politicians can hire and fire them and put in their own civil servants in.
I love the idea. The civil service has that's why they call them the deep state. They're permanent state. We had the same problem in the 70s in Nigeria. The perm secs, they were called permanent secretaries, and their bureaucracies. And it took a military government to break up their monopoly. A military government had to come in to break up the monopoly. But it's probably halfway back, or maybe even fully back with our civil government now. It's just very natural that if you don't have full control over your bureaucracy, the bureaucracy will control you, and you'll make political decisions that will just never be carried out. They know how to. Well, if anyone who's familiar with British TV of the, what was it, 80s, was it?
Yes, Prime Minister.
Yes, Minister, first of all, and yes, Prime Minister.
That was brilliant. I loved that.
That just went so acutely, went behind this, acutely. So, anyway, yes, whatever. Cleverly went behind the scenes of what happens in Whitehall. Whitehall being the seat of government, of bureaucratic government, in civil service. It's probably the best way of putting it. Whitehall is the seat of the civil service in London, in the UK. And it was a comedy, but very much designed and filmed as a behind the scenes of what actually goes on in the corridors of power. And we were laughing, but a lot of what we were laughing at was frankly appalling.
Well,
I mean, horrifying.
Bureaucracy there was putting the roadblocks to actually government to govern. Although they do have checks and balances in, and this is the strange thing. They do allow the functioning government to function. Because if you just overwhelmingly cut it and just put in brand new people who don't know what's going on, you actually stifle.
Yeah, but you
government.
wouldn't do that, frankly, would you? I mean, that would be stupid. So you don't do that, but you do what the Russians did under Stalin, I believe, under the
What?
Yeah,
you want to follow the Stalin model?
No, it was very effective. Under the
It killed loads of people.
well, yeah,
That's pretty effective, yeah.
well, because you see, the problem with Stalin was that he operated on suspicion rather than on threat. So if you operate on threat, on refuseniks, people who say no, it's fine. But if you just suspect a person of thing, I mean, it's like Big Brother's watching you. I don't like the way you're looking at me. and it ended up being. Did you know about the stupidity of his standing ovations, where the ovation never stopped because you didn't want to be. You didn't want to be the first to stop. So you'd be clapping like an idiot, okay?
Forever.
But you couldn't stop because if you stop, it was like, oh, really? So Tony Fasulo thinks that he's not impressed, you have 15,
hands
20
are
minutes,
bleeding while you're
15 or 20 minutes of stupid clapping. It's ridiculous. So you don't want to be like that. But what they had was these political officers. And I like the idea of a political officer who knows the politics. I don't know what you're doing, but he knows the politics, and he's in the office and he's watching everyone and wants to know, well, you were told to do X, Y, Z. Have you done it yet? And then you give some kind of, fanciful, form, blah, blah, blah. Then he just reports back. And then the next thing is 3 o'clock knock in the morning and you're taken away. And if a few of them taken away, everybody soon finds where the form is and just cracks on. And that's what you need. We must be able, the civil population, what other population is there? We, civil society, in a democratic society, must have the right to change our governments democratically. But in order to do that, the governments that we change to must do what we told them to do. You know why we elected them? And if you are undemocratically stifling that, you are actually the enemy of the people. You are treasoners. And it's okay with me if you are found and killed, because why are you doing that? If you feel so strongly that ABC should not happen, your pathway in a democracy is to get on your soapbox and to fight for it democratically, get into office, and then do it your way. But if you get there, you too wouldn't want to be stifled by someone who disagrees with you. Do you see? The governing is for
I'm
the.
not sure they're stifling. Well, but what they are doing is they. I mean, they haven't got the power to change policy, for instance. So if somebody new came in and said, "Look, I need this doing by this date,"
Hmm.
any problem with that? If there was no problem, then they should be doing it, and he should be able to say, "Look, if you're not meeting my obligation, I'm sorry, you're no longer fit to do the job I'm asking you to do." And this is all that Farage is trying to do. He's trying to give more power to the executive, the MPs in particular, or the ministers, sorry, who ask the civil service to carry out some of the instruction to make the laws, that have just been passed into fruition. They can't stymie that. They've got to do it and make it happen and make sure things are done in the right, proper manner. But you're right, some of them have different agendas. But then that's the same in any organization. You don't come into an organization, you get a new CEO, he doesn't wipe out the whole, workforce. He puts in strategic people in the right places that he knows will pass the right will ensure that certain tasks will be carried out. But the original people are still in the company. They then have to follow the instruction from whoever's their head of department, head of department, head of a team, and carry out those instructions. So, it's all accountability. You have to make sure that the people who are instructed to do the job are doing it. Now, my understanding is that if you're protected by the civil service rules, you can't be fired. The top door, the people in government can't fire you. The civil service can fire you, but you can't fire them. So what Nigel Farage wants to do is bring in the same thing that they're doing in America, where they remove the civil service protections, and then they can hire and fire the civil services. However, the problem in America is because they're taking those protection of the civil service away, it then means that the executive can also get rid of judges, can also get rid of people.
Well, we have to get rid of judges. Not only that, I think we've got to just change the way we even do the law. Judges now are a law unto themselves. They are actually creating the law, and they were supposed to be interpreting the law. Now, it's a very fine point, and we don't have time to go into it today. We should probably do a show. I'd actually love to talk about this. Judges are creating the law. There was no such law that said A, B, C, that, you can do this. And then somehow you go into court and you come out and it's a law now. It's like the judge said so. It's like, but where did that judge get that from?
It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's interpretation. It's because the law has been written by the government, and the judges have to interpret that law. And if the law hasn't been written properly, the judges have to make a big assumption. And
so we need to do a show on this. I don't want to get sidetracked. No, I mean, you said
I know.
It's not, because it is, because that's why I'm saying it. And I'm going to come up with all sorts of receipts when I come along. So yeah, that they're making up the law. So it's just got to be dealt with. I completely agree. However, you don't need to be able to fire anyone. I've been thinking about this for a long time. In my fantasies about when I'm running the country, what am I going to do? It's very, for me, I don't need to actually cut off anyone's head.
What's the party we have to vote for to get you in? Hey?
Sorry?
What's the party we have to vote for to get you in as our new leader?
I had no idea. I can't stand
all
those.
Thought it through properly.
No, I can't stand all the meetings, man. Those interminable meetings where you go for 5 hours. You're talking about the color of tea, and so I can't do it. I can't take it, man. Sorry. So you guys are just gonna have to manage without me. Sorry, guys. you'd have loved having me as a prime minister, but no.
Oh,
no, that's not what you do. Yeah. He said, weeping. I can see the tears streaming down your face. Yeah. I think that's the more honest response. No, you don't sack anyone. What you do is you just give them a job that they have to do, because I think you can sack them, or I think you can if they refuse to do something that you've told them to do. They can't. There's a certain
Can't
level after.
refuse. Yeah, they can't refuse to do it, but they can
Exactly.
stymie it. They can put roadblocks in, and then you could sort of say, look, But there are people within the civil service who you can go to and go, look, he's not doing his job, and then they have a word with him and say, look, you don't do your job, we will fire you. So
Yeah. So what
it's
you
not
just
like,
do, in my opinion, is just I would as prime minister develop a reputation for telling people to count the sheep in Wales. So if you're messing around, I'll call you into my office and say, I really need to know exact number of sheep in these following fields, and I want you to take care of it yourself. Okay? So off you go. And if he says no, then he's gone. And so otherwise, he comes back and you say, "Oh, is this really right?" I tell you what, go back for another 6 months and go and count them again. So everyone's going to get the picture. Look, when Tyre says do this, if you don't end up counting sheep in Wales or lampposts in Glasgow or something, you had better flipping do what I say. I think you can do it that way. I don't think you need to actually, and it's probably a more terrifying way, to be honest, because once you're disgraced in the civil service, as I understand, it's like a club. You won't get back in again.
No.
So you can do that. But even giving, I mean, why are we bringing, look, this American thing, okay? I've got a comment to make about it. And one of the comments is this. It's the utter cheek of, in my opinion, of these coffee drinking oinks who don't drink tea. You know who I'm talking about?
Who?
Oh, the Americans.
Oh,
Okay? Granted, coffee isn't bad. In fact, I adore the coffee. I love the American coffee that company that starts with the letter C, but there are no free adverts on the TNT talk show. So I'm not going to compete, but I do love their coffee. But must we import everything from America? Coffee, Netflix series, Michelle Moynihan, and Microsoft. I mean, what?
what's wrong
Why?
with Michelle Moynihan? Why?
Well, yeah, but why is she here, man? She could be over there. I mean, she's pretty and everything, but what the hell, man?
But she's doing a lot of stuff at Cambridge, isn't she? But anyway, we're
What is she?
digressing
What is she?
from
What is she? Okay, we're going to have to talk about this because I'm really curious about what she's doing. I mean, that's why I know that she's in the UK. Don't ask me why. We once gave the world parliamentary democracy, colonialism, heroin addiction. Sorry, China. The mighty and excellent English language, which, by the way, I noticed the Yanks have envied us for 200 years and are now successfully destroying one weird spelling at a time. And one change of verb. You go, that's not the right verb. And they don't even care. They say something like, I am laying down. You say, do you mean I'm lying down? And you can actually see them doing this as they destroy our language. And what do we do?
Do you think that Nigel Farage is going to accelerate all this? Go on, continue.
Yeah, of course. And then what are we going to do now? We're exchanging our democracy to follow America's footsteps so that we can just shout at each other live on TV, as if Jerry Springer was British by birth or something. Oh, hang on.
He was Australian, wasn't he?
No.
Was he English? But his show was in America, not here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So, there's the case of the chickens coming home to roost, I think, but...
Dear. I mean, right, going back to Nigel Farage, right? He is... Some of the things he wants to implement. Now, obviously, he's very good at creating this external group that are the threat, and he's the one that will salvage and solve that problem. And he's done it before. He did it with Brexit, where he made out that our borders needed to be protected, and the problem was the EU with the unelected bureaucracy of the EU, which was a complete and utter falsehood. But the soundbite worked. It was a soundbite. It's not true. The wording.
It's not true that the EU, the top EU officials are unelected. I mean, Ursula von der Leyen, whatever her name is, she's elected.
she's not elected, no, but she's voted in by elected individuals, because it's the European Parliament, which is directly elected. They're the co-legislator, and they have the final power to approve, amend, or reject any EU laws anyway. And
well, so we're told, but that's not.
no,
what we
but
see.
they are. The European Parliament have to co-sign off any laws that are suggested by the what's it called, the
Council of State,
yes, and by the European
European Commission.
Commission. They're the ones that are not voted by the public, but they're voted in by the European Parliament, who are directly elected. And also the Council of the European Union, which is part of the EU, are indirectly elected because they're all EU member. Sorry, they're all EU members of Parliament. So they're their own parliaments members who are brought into the European Union to make the final group that signs off on decisions. So who was in that group from an elected point of view? It was, for instance, the last one was the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer. They would attend the meetings, and they would have to sign off on anything that would affect the UK as well as the rest of Europe. So unelected was a play on words, because it was just the bit that von der Leyen was voted in, but she was voted in by the European Parliament.
Yeah, she wasn't proposed by the European Parliament. So here, the European Commission has monopoly on legislative initiative, and
Yeah.
it is unelected.
Yeah, they don't have a monopoly. They can make the suggestions. That's their role.
Yeah, they just make it. All
Yeah.
the European Parliament can do is approve, amend, or reject what the Commission puts forward.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they cannot of their own volition create any laws.
No, they ask them to create the laws.
Yeah,
They
so
actually
if,
ask them to create the laws.
so if you want a law made, you
Yeah.
have to actually get the unelected officials to propose it. That's not my idea of democracy. It might be yours, because
Hold on,
you know,
that's exactly
I'm a
what
writer.
happens. Do you know what? When the laws are drafted in our parliament, they're not done by the actual elected officials. They're tweaked by Whitehall and the bureaucracy that you've
Anyone
just
in our
made.
parliament can actually say, "I want to do this, I want to do that," and then get it
Amended, and included in, but the
table
wording,
it. I think it's called. They can table
yes,
it.
and the wording is corrected and put in place by Whitehall.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is that that's coming from the parliament that we elected, unlike it's coming from an unelected body. So
No,
that's number
but
one.
the law is coming from
Why are you
the
arguing, man?
civil
Just
service.
this is the case that the parliament in Strasbourg cannot initiate a law. Our parliamentarians can.
No,
Finish.
that's not true. That is actually wrong.
Okay, so that's number one. But what is true is that the parliamentarians in Strasbourg cannot create a law. That is true. Okay, two, citizens cannot remove the government. In democratic states, if you don't like the government, you vote them out. In the EU, there's no mechanism for citizens to remove the commission. We can't vote out Ursula von der Leyen the way we can vote out the
our
prime
people
minister.
to tell them to vote her out. Yes, we can.
We can what?
We can tell the European Parliament, who are directly elected by us, we can say to them, don't like von der Leyen and vote her out.
How do I tell Polish parliamentarians to vote her out?
You can only vote your representatives, who then vote you. That's how it works in our democracy. You can't tell the Exchequer. You can't tell the Exchequer to not do something because they're not in our constituency. You can only tell our MP to take our question to Parliament and put it against the Exchequer, but they don't have to take it on board. That's our democracy. It's exactly the same. So how can you say
It's
that
exactly the same that I'm one of 65 million. Well, I don't even know what the voting population is. 28 million here. I'm one of whatever. I think it's 28 million voters here. But in the EU, I'm one of 660 million or whatever it is. And of them, How many of them actually speak my lingo anyway? And you're telling me it's a democracy, and that I have to then convince people that don't know me from Adam that
Anyway.
they to get rid of people that the prime minister here. I just say I'm not voting for his party. That's it. That's all I have to do. I just don't vote for Labour. And if enough of us don't vote for Labour, he's gone. Who
Yeah,
do I not?
that's only because we've
Hold
only
on.
got
Who
two
do I
parties.
hold on? Who do I not vote for to get rid of von der Leyen? Exactly.
You don't vote for the MEP who's there who should be representing us.
Why? Does the MEP necessarily want von der Leyen there? Von der Leyen is not connected to him in any way. He all you according
Well,
to
yes,
you,
she is, because
he can,
she's the one that comes up with the EU laws, and then they have to sign them off. And if
yeah.
they
According to
think,
you,
if they
according
think that they don't do a good enough job, they can vote her out. Of course, they can.
that doesn't make any look. According to you, it's the same thing. If I don't like Labour, I don't vote for Labour. I've
Yeah,
asked you a
okay.
simple question. I don't like von der Leyen. Who do I not vote for? How do I know the next person that is going to be in there? I mean, I don't even know what even happens. You're saying I should go and tell my MEP that I don't like von der Leyen, and then what? She's not in his party. He's
No,
not in
but
her
she's
party.
got the right. She's got the right to ask the question. That's the whole point of the parliament.
I think that's a she.
Okay, the he or she.
No, because I just thought a second. Okay, maybe you know about. No, I
Anyway,
don't know.
let's digress. See, we were talking about Farage, and
Yeah,
we're
but
saying
you
that
maligned the man. You maligned the man.
I
That's
am
why the
maligning him because he's telling us half truths. So if he's telling us half truths, what's he going to do if he gets into power?
I don't agree. What's telling us half truth? It's the EU is not democratic. That's why I jumped to his defense.
It's a half truth. It's not entirely correct. He used that spin and that term to plant the seed, and it worked because most people believed that it was an unelected body, but which was not true. So, that's the key. He's used the words cleverly to ensure his agenda was being reached. But looking back, if you look at the fine detail, he was actually incorrect. But
Sorry.
he was using that rhetoric to get his aims across. It was an exaggeration at best. It wasn't a lie, but it was an exaggeration. So in those terms, it means that he has deceived the public by not telling them the truth. And this is the problem with him. He's very good with his sound bites.
I like what my AI said. The bottom line: power flows from appointments and intergovernmental negotiations in the EU, not from citizens' votes. That's not how democratic states work. Not from appointments and intergovernmental negotiations. That's what I was trying to say. That encapsulates what I was trying to say was, you very don't want a prime minister, you don't vote for his party. That's votes working, not negotiations with me and my MEP, and then my MEP and other MEPs, and yada yada blah. What the hell is this? That's all I'm trying to say, and I think that's what Nigel Farage meant, and that's what I took from him.
Okay.
So
if
he wants, if he's saying about that, I'm happy, but
that's
is
not
he an
what
American
meant.
stooge?
Yes, he's a stooge. Of course
Yeah,
he is.
yeah, he is. I mean, in my opinion, we have to be careful here what we can prove in the court of law. So in my opinion, he's got all the hallmarks of, as you put it very aptly in the beginning, he looks like a Donald Trump. In other words, he says one thing, does another. Donald Trump even fooled me a second time. The guy's a good salesman, let's be honest. The second time he fooled me. I was thinking, the alternative being Pamela Harris. Was it Pamela? Their first name? Somebody Harris. Kamala, sorry. Yeah. Kamala Harris. Anything but Kamala Harris. And I suppose I still feel anything but Kamala Harris, but I thought Trump was going to come in and make a fist of it. He's coming and he balls everything up. It's just astonishing. Whatever he told us he was going to do, he didn't do. The Epstein files, man, nobody knows what the hell is going on. Those are just gone, man. They're more gone than the JFK files. Okay. That's saying something, man.
That is so wrong. I mean, okay, that aside, we're digressing slightly,
Okay.
but the point
Yeah.
is,
Well, bashing Trump is always fun, man. Come on.
well, yeah, well, the thing is, the Epstein files have to be released. I mean, I don't know how or when or whatever, but the thing is, how many people are in that list? So many powerful people, and there's no names, because the rich can have lawsuits, can have their names hidden and kept at bay, and that's exactly what's happening now. Is Farage part of this? Not implicating him in the Epstein, no. But what I'm saying here is Farage part of this elite group that can get, I don't know, not favours, but can get things sort of circumvented for their benefit.
Yeah,
I mean,
he came from banking, man.
It's what? Sorry,
He came from banking.
who
Farage.
did he?
Yeah, investment banking.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does all these. He was just on sort of like playing for the other team. He was an insider who left and was on the outside. But at some point in time, it looks to me like he's just back on the inside again. Not quite. One has to be careful. It's not like that, but he let's put it this way: he knows the right people. Yeah, he knows the right people in a bad sort of way. Okay, it's where I'm coming from. He knows the right people, and it looks like from these things he's talking about, it's not us he's looking after right now. And I'm surprised. I mean, I don't think I'm the only one. I think a lot of people have got real concerns over the Reform Party.
Because wasn't he caught in Elon Musk at one point, trying to get some donations from Elon?
I don't remember that. No.
But
Elon Musk is everywhere like a rash anyway. So
I think that could be one of the reasons that he was trying to get some sort of handout from Elon, but they had a bit of a falling out, so that money was withheld. Although they would have to obviously declare where it was coming from and how much, etc. But I'm not sure that would have been a good donation to them anyway. But I don't like the idea that he's too pally with Trump. That's another reason. I don't like it because he is following the Trump playbook over here, and I am really, really concerned that he will get in the next parliament because Labour and the Tories are just doing a rubbish job of, putting their values across. Labour's doing a horrific job and they're in power. So everybody's turning to an alternative and they are the ones who are.
Unfortunately, I still don't know why the Workers' Party isn't doing better, but there we go.
I think he hasn't got the budget.
Well, he can't have the budget because he doesn't take money from the big boys.
Wow.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, I think he's got the right principles and integrity, let's be honest. But he hasn't.
Why doesn't he
got the
pull in Obama and just go for the small donations, which is what Obama did?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He didn't have any big donations. He just got lots and lots of little donations.
I think that's what the Workers' Party needs to do.
Well, yeah, that would be more sensible and actually the better way of doing it. Let's be fair. But he needs some people in his group in order to instigate that and get that moving. Because at the minute, he'll.
I'd join, but my name would sully the party.
I mean, I'm not sure your right-wing views are literally aligned with the
Workers'
Party.
I know that my right-wing views won't find a natural home amongst them, but what I'm trying to get out
his
from
integrity, you admire
what I'm
his
trying
honesty.
to get from that party is okay by me, because when he's in and then he works and fixes things, and by the way, like the House of Lords. In my fantasies about running the country, what would I do to fix the House of Lords? I just make like the what do you call it, Proposal 25 or whatever you called it? What would you call it?
Project 2025.
Project 25.
Blue Book.
Yeah, it's not actually the civil service you need to flood with loyalists. It's the House of Lords. I just bung 1,000 of my fiercer supporters in there. Bada boom, bada bing.
Can you?
So yeah, I can.
You've got.
I'm Prime Minister. I just give the list to His Majesty the King. Majesty has to sign in. Doesn't want palaver. There we go. And there we are. I got 1,000 new laws we're going to carry out my bidding. First thing we're going to do is dissolve the House of Lords. It's done.
Well, you can't because you need two houses to keep things in check. But okay.
No, we don't need
Anyway,
two houses.
we are reaching the top
You
of
need
the
one
hour.
house
So
and one guillotine. Finish.
right, let's summarise here. Do
Uh-huh.
you think Reform UK are American politics in a British suit?
Yes, unfortunately.
I have to agree with you. I really do. I'm really quite concerned because, you know, some of the institutions, I mean, he wants to give tax breaks to people by not paying for the NHS, but we'll end up paying more for the insurance companies anyway. So what sort of tax break is it?
Yeah.
Just fix the darn thing. Don't rip it up and put a insurance-based system in its place. That is very wrong, and I hope that he doesn't get into power because of that reason alone. But that's separate.
I'm not voting for reform.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But mind you, I'm not voting for Labour or the Tories either. So a bit of a pickle.
Indeed.
Might be.
Anyway, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.